This next number might astonish you. It caught me off guard. Nearly 6 million Canadians have suffered some sort of disability that impacted their working life. But the package benefits that were once available to employees are definitely harder to come by. Joining me now to discuss what a worker must do and what they need to keep in mind in this kind of work environment, Nainesh Kotak, the founder of Kotak Law. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So we know that in the precarious job economy that we're in right now, there's more contract work being offered, the gig economy. Benefits aren't what they used to be. And when I see a number like that, people suffering some sort of disability that takes them out for either a short or long period of time, we're facing a real problem. How do we sort of conquer that?
You know, it is a real problem. The reality is many Canadians are living day to day. And as you said, the workforce is changing. So employers traditionally would offer group benefit plans to their employees. They'll cover medical benefits and often disability benefits, whether it's short-term or long-term. And we have the changing workforce now where either employers are they're kind of cutting back in a way, offering other incentives and maybe not offering the type of benefit plans that they used to, or you have workers who are really working from home and freelancing or having corporations where they get paid through their corporations for tax purposes. So you think about this, there are private disability plans available, and really people should think about that. They're not, you can cater it to yourself, they're not overly expensive. And one of the differences between the group and the private is this. The group plan is really catered to all the employees of a particular corporation. And the employer will often select the cheapest option or one that they think will encapsulate everybody. And they'll have a disability test that changes over time. The first 2 years, it's whether or not you're disabled from performing the essential tasks of your employment. And after that, it would be, and often is, are you totally disabled from performing any gainful occupation? And that is where we find that many people get their benefits cut off, or they're told, hey, maybe you can't work here, you can work somewhere else. So when you buy a private policy, you can cater it and say, look, I want an own occupation policy right off the bat. Therefore, it doesn't matter. Even after 2 years, the policy will state, can you do your own job or not?
That's an interesting distinction, and one I hadn't thought of in terms of after those 2 years, they're saying there's other kind of work you can do, you just can't go back to what you used to do.
Right.
I'm thinking about the time when I first got life insurance many years ago, and I didn't even think about the disability portion, because you're thinking about sort of the most dramatic thing, life insurance. Yes. If I pass, then my kids are taken care of, and my advisor basically said it's much more likely that you are going to, hopefully not, but get hit with some sort of disability. And obviously these numbers bear it out. I was shocked by that number.
Yeah. And you know that the number, I tell you, even for mental health issues. It may not be physical. 1 in 5 Canadians, some point in their life, will have a mental illness, and it may be temporary. It could be anxiety or depression. And this is where the insurance policies sometimes, and I find that people get denied a fair bit more when it comes to the claims for anxiety and depression, because it's invisible. They're invisible. So what happens after 2 years, the insurer may say, well, look, your job was a bit physical, maybe you had stress in your environment where you were, but you do something else, because they can't see that anxiety, they can't see that depression. But the reality is, people who suffer from anxiety or depression, it really doesn't matter per se if their job was physical or not. If they can't leave their home, if they're having racing thoughts in their mind with stress and an inability to deal with other people, they're going to have difficulty doing any type of employment. So I really think that the disability policies are very important. And the other, obviously, is critical illness. And, look at we all know people who have had heart attacks. We all know people who have, have developed cancer or other illnesses that could be life-threatening. And these are the cheapest policies, they're critical illness, and they often go along with a life policy or separately. And certainly, I would encourage that. Look, in my practice, I sue insurance companies who deny these claims. I was going
to ask you about that. If you are denied, right, is it automatically go to a lawyer? Are there other avenues, or basically, sure, if they've taken that step against you, then you need to take that step against them?
All right. I'll tell you what. Most insurance companies, when there's a denial, they have what's called an internal appeal process. That is, well, at your own expense, go submit more information. But think about it. It's like one employee of an insurance company judging the other employee's work, inevitably denied again. We always recommend go to a lawyer straight and don't get involved in that internal appeal process, because in my view and what I've seen, it's quite biased. Go to a lawyer and commence your lawsuit. And what most lawyers do, and the lawyers who handle this type of work, such as us, we get our claim out very quickly, because we realize, look, the person's without money. They could be living day to day. Get the case moving and get the people on the table to be able to resolve the case. It's not something you want to drag out. It's something you need to push and fight hard and get the money.
In terms of an industry standard, I want to ask you about your own numbers, but how successful are people usually? Will a company want to settle then if it gets to that point, legal action?
I find that in this area of practice, disability law, the insurance companies do want to settle. They don't want to go to court in front of a jury and have the insurance company's name up there, because the jury's not going to like them. Probably they see an insurance company who is not paying someone who has cancer or chronic pain, fibromyalgia, or severe stress. They're probably going to want to side with the worker. So I do find that yes, initially, a lot of people are denied. And many people walk away and they don't fight it. But once you get a lawyer, once, for example, us or another competent firm get involved, there is an inclination on the insurance company part to sit at the table and let's come to a resolution. Because look, they have their reputation to keep as well. And I do find this, even when you settle a case, they usually will require, almost in every case, a confidentiality clause. So the person cannot go on social media. They can't talk about it. Well, hey, I got this out of XY company.
They want to protect that reputation.
They want to protect that reputation, and that's where they get their business.
Fascinating stuff. Thanks for sharing that with us.
You're very welcome.
Nainesh Kotak is the founder of Kotak Law.